let the viewer know.
Yeah.
Curses are real.
Yeah.
You see, I'm born from an original that home has a curse.
How did you? How did you find out, and what is this curse? I mean, do curses really exist?
You see, when I became successful, neighbors called me and told me, we are whispering about your uncles. We're also whispering something about your clan. Of course, you could see the brother to my grandfather went to Russia to train as a doctor. He came back as a bookkeeper. His other brother remained a drunkard. His other brother went to Zimbabwe and got lost, changed his names. And then the sisters, one sister died while mad, another one blind. I knelt, I said, God, I don't know where my mother and my father did this, I don't know, but I do not want this thing to follow my what? My children.
Did you feel the effect yourself?
You could see it. I had already repeated the sin of my father and my mother.
How?
My daughters, the daughters I have, I got them out of wedlock. So I knelt and confessed. And surely when I confessed, God brought my daughters.
You didn't know them?
No.
You didn't know that they exist at that point?
I knew I had messed somewhere, but when I prayed, they were 22 years.
Oh.
They came to me when they were 22 years.
Looking for you.
Looking for me, and I've guided them through studies. They now recognize me as their father.
Now what I want us to do is go back to your mother. When your mother is telling you this before, because now you have met your dad, and he's not told you. He's not told you this story. Take us where your mother tells you the story.
Okay. After I found my dad.
Yes.
I brought him home to my grandfather's home. And the day I brought him, God made sure my mother left her matrimonial home to come and see grandmother. So they met. And when they met, grandmother said, this is the one. Grandmother said, where did you, ulipata hapo huyu mkora? But you see, God had answered my prayer, isn't it? For me, I did not want to know whether he was a mkora or whatever. My father apologized to my grandmother, and then they said, this is your father. The presence of my uncle, grandmother, and I now knew my father. So after that, I had been in my father's life for 15 years. So we would share. And then in sharing, he told me how he was taken to Makadara courts, how he was charged and told to take care of me until I reach 18 years. But when that law was abrogated by Attorney General Njonjo, my father found a way of escape and he disappeared. So I remained in the hands of my grandmother and grandfather. And then I took care of my father until when I buried him. After I buried him, who has remained? My mother. So when I'm taking care of my mom, is when she had healed, is when she now shared my son.
So the apology that your father is giving is in disappearing.
In disappearing.
And you didn't share what happened?
No, he didn't share. That is that my mother.
Now tell me what your mother told you.
When she told me, my son, I was not an immoral girl.
You had lived knowing your mother was an immoral person.
Of course, when it has been written, where are your fathers? Is it not because your mothers were prostitutes? so you know that. You know that. But you see, now when I'm taking care of her when she is sick, she opened up. And you see, my mother has even left. She left PhD. She's an SDA.
As we speak.
Not only that, she has a Sabbath school opened near her home.
Wow.
She has picked the religion of her father.
Of her father.
Through the son. She has repicked it up.
You're telling me that did your mother narrate what really transpired and what she had to go through to you, first-hand information?
She really had it rough. First, in fact, when she told me, when she delivered me, the relatives removed any help from her because grandmother was in Nairobi. Nobody to help her. She went to the river after giving birth to me. Somebody even told her, hit that kid on the stone. Which kid have you delivered for us?
She should have aborted.
She should have aborted. Umetuzalia kitu gani hapa? And she bore it. She bore it. And when she explains, you can see she really suffered. She
went through a lot.
She went through a lot. She was a bright girl, very bright. If it was not this rape, she would have gone very far. But she calls me the certificate she got.
Oh yeah.
I'm her certificate.
The success you've had.
The certificate she got from school is me.
Yeah. And your dad, by this time when your mother is sharing this, your dad is still alive?
My dad is already dead.
Already dead. Okay. He shared, some people take this as a curse in a family.
You see, I'm born from an original, that home has a curse.
How did you... How did you find out, and what is this curse? I mean, do curses really exist?
You see, when I became successful, neighbors called me and told me, we are whispering about your uncles. We're also whispering something about your clan. Of course, you could see the brother to my grandfather went to Russia to train as a doctor. He came back as a bookkeeper. His other brother remained a drunkard. His other brother went to Zimbabwe and got lost, changed his names. And then the sisters, one sister died while mad, another one blind. And so the effect of that could be seen. Then, you see, when they whispered to me that there was a problem in your clan, I went and asked my aunt, people are whispering to me, A, B, C, D. Do you know anything about it? And she said, yeah. They are saying that is why we have failed this way. This is why our marriages don't stand. This is why. He so told me that. But I was not satisfied. Since grandmother had raised me up, I went to her, told her, grandmother, please tell me. I'm hearing, it is not many, it is talked in hushed voices. So grandmother asked me, you little boy, who has told you these things? And I told her, no, people have whispered, please tell me, because they are saying we are cursed. Are you saying that? They're saying, like the Omutamba whom I'm named, he has another name which he has never been named. No child has ever been named after him. They say he committed a taboo sin in the community.
The great-grandfather.
Yeah, the great-grandfather. So when when grandfather was giving me the name, was naming me a name of a person who had committed a taboo sin that brought a curse to his genealogy.
Did you find out what?
Yeah, it is not mentioned. Just know it is a taboo sin.
And now, hey, you've had a very serious growing up because you are born out of rape.
Yeah.
You're named after someone who would do this to someone who is already down.
Of course, you know it was incest.
Where?
Yeah, and the elders put him on and cast him, and I was told he was cast, but grandmother told me no, they forgave him. Are you seeing? But shortly after that time he died.
No. It's your grandmother who is narrating to you this.
No, grandmother is now accepting what people have done. I've told him. Even my mother did not know about it. Even my uncles did not know about it. But me, the Lord allowed me to know.
How old are you then?
I should have been 30-something.
I mean, what pushed you to start looking for these issues? I mean, there are so many people, Samuel, who know, and things have been whispered in their ears, that the reason as to why your marriages are failing,
the
reason as to why you are trying so much and nothing is coming out, coming up, you are not successful, it's because of a curse. What pushed you?
You see, I've prayed and found my father.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
My mother has opened up. Now, it's natural for you to want to know certain things.
Yeah.
I've now been told we have a curse. And they show me the examples of how you could see the effect of the curse in that clan.
Omutamba's curse.
Yeah, the Omutamba clan.
Yes.
You could see the effect of it. There is even a sister of my grandfather who sold her matrimonial home and died away. She was taken by a district commissioner in Kakamega, brought her back. She was buried at her father's compound. So you could see.
Your uncles?
No, that is a person I can call the sister to my grandfather.
Yeah.
So you could see. Are you seeing that? Now, and me, I had read the Bible.
Yeah.
I had read about Nehemiah confessing the sin of his fathers and the sin of Israel. Although he was not a participant in that sin. Are you seeing? I had read of Daniel confessing the sin of Israel, although he was not what? Partaker of that sin. So when I found Leviticus says if they confess the sin of their fathers, in fact some English Bible say the sin of their ancestors and their sin, I will hear, I will remember, I will heal them. And then I had seen the sin of Abraham in the Bible, which was repeated by Isaac, which was repeated by the children of Isaac, which was repeated until... So I knelt and confessed the sin of Omutamba. Since people have done what? I've said, I've whispered. I knelt, I said, God, I don't know where my mother and my father did this, I don't know, but I do not want this thing to follow my what? My children.
Did you feel the effect yourself?
You could see it. I had already repeated the sin of my father and my mother.
How?
My daughters, the daughters I have, I got them out of wedlock.
They must be beautiful though.
They are very beautiful.
But you note that you also became a participant of this.
Are you seeing that? So I knelt and confessed. And surely when I confessed, God brought my daughters.
You didn't know them?
No.
You didn't know that they exist at that point?
I knew I had messed somewhere, but when I prayed, they were 22 years.
Oh.
They came to me when they were 22 years.
Looking for you.
Looking for me, and I've guided them through studies. They now recognize me as their father. So when I got that scene was in Omutamba's home, I knelt, I confessed it, and here I am.
Your grandfather?
My grandfather
was affected.
He was already, he's dead. He does not know that I've gone this far about it.
Oh.
Even it's only grandmother whom I asked, and she told me, you a little boy who has told you these things. These things are not spoken. But you see, when I confessed it, this is what I am today. My sons have reached where my other people never reached. My daughters have reached. They have gone. They are all university graduates. So you can see. And then any member of Omutamba family who passed through my house has become successful.
What was the name that you were called in Kisi?
Ekerentane.
This same person is the one Ekerentane has raised great people through his hands.
Yeah, he raised. And you see, now when I was taking my daughters and I was explaining how I got them and the curse I was told about, and my father told me, my son, what you are saying that was in your maternal uncle's spirit is also here.
What do you mean?
It's also here. Your uncle also did what that great-great-grandfather of yours did, what he did there.
Incest also is in the other home.
In the other home. So incest.
Now.
And I knelt again to confess. And you see, I could see the stagnation in my father's home. You cannot know my father was a worker in Leyland Motors. You could not know he even worked with the Kenya utangazaji wa hali ya hewa. You don't see that the fruit of that. And then my father went further and told me when he did some stealing.
Apart from the rep?
Yeah. He did some stealing in Leyland Motors. Sold a vehicle. When he sold a vehicle, the money of a vehicle, you should have seen it has done something. But the home devastated. So I also again I found that my father's sin of finances was also affecting me. Are you seeing that?
What do you mean about that?
Money comes and you just
disappear. You can't quantify what you've done.
So I again knelt to confess the sin of my father, and my money has stabilized.
Since the time that you prayed?
Since the time I confessed it has stabilized. Yeah, so those who say there are no curses, they don't know. I am talking out of what? Experience. Talking out of experience. Even I found the first offshoot in the SDA church came from Bunyore. And people would ask, you say, where do you come? You come from Bunyore. Can anything
good
and anything good come from Bunyore? Some pastor asked me so. So I went and looked for that mzee. I interviewed him. I listened to his story. He was called Washington Booker.
Some people may be knowing him, huh?
Yeah, he's now. And you see, I also knelt because you could see the effect of what he taught affected Bunyore Adventism. I knelt again to confess the sin of who? Buka. And today I'm a pastor. In fact, Buka died in 2019, and 2019 I became what? A pastor.
I would have wanted to end this interview at this point, but I want to know now, how did you change from being a teacher how to becoming a pastor?
I I had been a teacher evangelist.
Okay.
I had read about Ellen White, the pioneer prophet of Adventism. I had read about her. I was a lover of Adventist education. Now, nobody, my grandfather worked for this church over 40, 30 years. He retired as a Seventh-day Adventist. But none of his children picked up. So I said, let me try the God of my grandfather. And if he fails on the way, I'll divert. Actually, the government posted me in Idanga Secondary School in Moranga. But I chose to work in Segero, which was, they were paying me 5,000 when the government was paying 10,000. But out of that, Segero grew. I went to Kamagambo, came to Chebua, I went to Rift Valley. And out of that, this church gave me a scholarship for pastoral training. They trained me at Adventist University of Africa.
But
they were Nairobi.
Oh, Nairobi.
They were paying for me 380,000 per year for 4 years. I've just remained with the research. So, to give chance to the young people who are coming in, I removed the jam into pastoral work. In fact, seemingly the fish now went into the real waters.
Because you're doing both teaching and evangelism.
Evangelism. So now they gave me pastoral work. And then chaplains, now I chaplain about 8 colleges in Eldoret.
That's huge.
And your background is not your foreground.
That's the most important thing.
You don't need to go on crying about your past, because Jesus changes our past into a glorious testimony.
Seemingly you're going to our final remarks. Hey, what do you think, Sam? We end the interview? We are going to, maybe I can give you, as we wrap up, what you would want to tell the viewers looking at that camera.
Let the viewer know.
Yeah.
Curses are real.
Yeah.
And Jesus came to take away our curse. Now when he takes away our curse, he blesses us indeed. And I believe when I asked him to bless me, he really blessed me more than Jabez.
Wow.
He has done great work for me. And I even tell people, my room in heaven is number 13. After Paul.
Paul is in number 12.
Yeah, mine should be 13. And chief of sinners. God, that was me. And these days I don't lament about my mother being raped. I tell God, thank you because you allowed my mother to conceive me.
You don't talk about it. You don't lament about
that.
I
don't lament about it because there are mothers who are looking for children and they don't have. Even just carrying me to term, then delivering me what? Safely, not imagining an abortion. For me, God is the only one who can fetch spilled water. He fetched spilled water and named it Samuel, Erastus Omutamba. And here is the water, it can be drunk in the name of Jesus.
Wow. Tito, your room in heaven is number?
I don't know.
You will have to tell these guys how to find out the number of your room in heaven.
The Bible tells me, as I've heard you talk, so shall I do to you. I'm talking where I want to go. From a product of rape, are you seeing that?
Yeah.
To a saint in heaven, sitting beside Jesus, my Savior.
Wow. how I would have wished to continue with this interview, but it is coming out clear that we are not subject to our genetics, our ancestral curses. We define our destiny. I know where you are watching from. Maybe you are dealing with curses. We are saying the answer to all curses is in Jesus Christ.
Yes.
We are saying we don't lament about our past. Whichever circumstance you fell into, you pick up your rags and move forward. We must grind. We must move. Lazima tusonge, no matter what. Maybe you come from a family that Erastus family, with many problems, with many failures. But doesn't mean that you end up becoming a failure. And so guys, I hope you took notes and you've learned. And I know for sure that you are going to be watching. We are at 600 and close to 640 subscribers. Can we push it to 1,000? Can you help me push it to 1,000? We are at around 400 watch hours. Can we push it to 4,000? I rely on you. Let's push this channel. Let us transform one life to impact all. Until next time, see you guys.